Hey guys, it's Jim with Digital Asset. Today I'm going to go over my thoughts on Bitcoin in the broader market, and we're going to see where things are maybe heading over the next couple days or weeks. So let's jump right in. I'm looking at Bitcoin USD, obviously. So when I'm looking at the overall crypto market, I like to basically base that off of Bitcoin. So one thing I'm noticing here when we look at the volume profile, for those of you that don't know, volume profile is basically just volume that's instead of based off of time periods, it's basically based off of price level. So here we can see there was a whole lot of volume, trade volume in this area, and you can see that represented in the chart. And what you tend to notice is whenever there's little holes in here, the market tends to come into these little pockets, right? So here we can actually see the market did indeed come into this area right here, right? So my thought is we're probably going to bounce around in here for a little bit, and so we're going to see what happens in the next couple of days. But basically, I'm calling this a no trade zone. I'm not really looking to get into anything. What I am looking at, however, is I'm watching this trend line, right? If we kind of have this big consolidation pattern happening, and actually we can draw this from like back to here, I think, honestly, right? Oh, yep, totally holds up. So you could call that just a big old bear flag almost. You know, if we see price rise up here and we have this big consolidation pattern, basically I'm looking at whether Bitcoin is going to break up out of it or break down. And most of the market seems to be leaning bearish, so much so that I'm almost leaning bullish, just to be contrarian. But I mean, basically, this looks like continuation. But I'm thinking if we get some bullish news or something, we could crawl out of this. And the other thing is that this market is just trading somewhat hilariously. You know, it's just trading completely different back when I was really heavily trading Bitcoin very frequently with these really predictable buying the dips. It's a whole different market. So you never know when we're going to get just a giant middle finger from some institutional money, just bringing this up out of it. You know, who knows, or driving this back down. But what I'm looking for is basically if we get a big old dump, you might be able to, you know, get a nice little bounce, you know, holding it for a couple days. So I'm just basically watching to buy a short-term dip and make one of these quick moves, you know. So you can make some pretty good profit that way. As far as altcoins go, I mean, it just looks like the market is pretty much chilling today. Nothing really to note. Was just looking at the top 100 for anything kind of crazy. Looks like 3% was a big deal compared to the rest. So market's pretty quiet. I think generally everybody is just chilling, waiting to see what's going to happen. So kind of all eyes on Bitcoin. So like I said, I'm just sitting tight. Not going to be shorting here either, but just waiting if we get a really kind of crazy dump into, you know, wherever. Maybe we get into the into this 4K level, you know, something like that. You know, who knows? Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. Just watching this consolidation pattern. Ichimoku isn't telling us very much on the daily. We have mixed signals, right? We have the bull cross, but we are below a red cloud. So that's looking pretty bearish. On the 12-hour, it is pretty much just as confusing. We have actually a bear cross with a bull cloud. So I'm thinking, you know, we'll at least probably get back up into this area. I bet you we'll at least probably retest that. Now, if we retest that, then we're getting into the area where it's going to have to be decision time. Bitcoin's going to have to break one way or the other, and altcoins will most likely follow. So we'll see. I think Ethereum is looking very similar. Gonna try and bring that up. So Ethereum took a big old dump, but overall, Ethereum's structure actually looks a little bit better. So if you wanted to be in ETH, you might still be better off. If we look at ETH BTC, the ratio between Ethereum and Bitcoin, its bull trend over Bitcoin is still intact. We're bouncing off the Kijun right now. So if we break the Kijun and we end up in the cloud, that's where I would be concerned. And if you are an Ethereum holder anyway, compared to Bitcoin, and that's when you want to consider that Bitcoin might take back its market dominance. So just something to look at. Otherwise, no news either, really. Yeah. So we'll leave it there. Hit subscribe if you found this useful, or ask me any questions in the comments if you guys are if you guys have any questions at all. I'm more than happy to give you a shout.